My name is Ray. Alright. Welcome to Ray Stories. Seems like people have been calling me asshole my whole life. I've never thought I was an asshole, but looking back, I guess there might have been some truth to it. Hello! How are you today? And it's time for another Ray Story. Alright, which one are we going to talk about today? Oh yeah, this one I like to call popcorn. Alright, this is a good one. One day, well, I used to do a lot of bad shit. Well, just mischievous shit, nothing really malicious or anything really dangerous. But I remember one day I was just sitting around the house, and my dad, one of the rules my dad has was never use the stove unless he was there and I got permission. And actually that might not have been the rule. The rule might have been don't ever use the stove. So of course, as soon as Dad's gone, he used to work, and he used to be home when I was in school most of the time, and then when I got to school, he was at work and was gone. I just spent a lot of time by myself, so I had to keep myself entertained. And I remember this one time, I really wanted some popcorn, and I had watched my dad cook popcorn I don't know how many times, and I knew you needed the oil and the popcorn, and you had to get the pan real hot. So I said, I'm gonna make me some popcorn, and Dad will never know, right? So I get the popcorn, I get the oil, and I get a big pan to put the shit in. You know, actually, I didn't get a big pan. Now that I think about it, I just got a medium saucepan. It was about that deep, about that round. And I'll tell you why I remember those dimensions so well from when I was like 12 years old. In a minute, you know. So I turn on the fire, and I put the pan on there, put the oil in there. The oil started getting hot. Put the popcorn in there, and I'm in there, I'm looking, and the popcorn is the oil starts heating up and bubbling, and then I'm sitting there and the popcorn's in there, and I'm looking and I'm watching it, and I'm like, I'm so happy because I'm gonna have some popcorn. I love popcorn. And so and because with a little salt, it's delicious. So I'm watching the popcorn, I'm looking at it, I'm watching the popcorn, and all of a sudden the first kernel popped. I was like, I followed it all the way. Right onto the floor. And then I was like, wow, that was so cool. And then the next one popped. Then the next one, you know, and then it just started popping like crazy, you know, and that's when it dawned on me, oh shit, I forgot the lid. And so I, of course, had put too much popcorn in there. And man, popcorn's popping everywhere on the stove, and I'm like eating it as it's popping and shit, and I'm like grabbing it and eating it, and then I'm like, I finally find the lid. I throw the lid on there, and I finish cooking the popcorn. I'm like laughing, you know, and so popcorn gets done cooking, I'm shaking it, and then everything's cool, you know. And I said, man, I gotta eat up all this popcorn and make sure no piece of popcorn nowhere to destroy all the evidence to where my dad can't find it. And so I take the pot and I set it in the middle of the floor on the carpet, and I start throwing all the popcorn that had fell on the floor in the pot, because I'm a little kid, I don't give a shit, I'm gonna eat it, right? And so I'm sitting there and I look and I checked under the cover and everything, make sure I got all the popcorn. And I was pretty pleased with myself. Until the moment I lifted the pot off the carpet. And I looked down at the carpet, and there was a perfectly round jet black burn mark into the carpet. Into the green carpet, I'll never forget it. And I'm like, I'm thinking, I made this face because my son makes it to me all the time. I think it was something to equivalent of, oh, like, oh shit, your dad's gonna beat your fucking ass when he comes home. And my dad used to come home at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he would like wake me up with a beating, you know. So, and I knew this is going to be one of those times, so I'm panicking. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do, you know? And so I'm looking around, and I'm looking around, and I look at the side door, and there's the welcome mat. So I'm thinking, well, I'll just put the welcome mat in the middle of the kitchen floor, and he'll never know. He won't know. And then it's cool. So I poured my popcorn in a bowl, I washed the pan, and I put the pan back, put all the shit back, popcorn back, the oil back, and then I went in the living room and watched cartoons and ate my popcorn. So I'm like, oh man, I went and I remember going to sleep and totally forgot all about it. And my dad comes in, he's like, Raymond. And I was like, he's like, Raymond. I was like, what? What? And he's like, could you come in here? And I was like, oh shit. And he's standing at the side door. I mean, my dad is sharp, you know, always up on things, and nothing gets by him, and he knows his shit immediately. He's like in one of those, I'm a slob, and he's the exact opposite, meticulous and just a neat freak. So he looked at me and goes, why is the welcome mat not by the side door? And then I looked at him, not skipping a beat. I said, oh, I thought it would look better there. You know? And then he looks at me, and he's just looking at me and staring at me. And I was just like a little kid, you know, I don't know if 12 was a little kid, but he walks over there to the mat and lifts it up, revealing that perfectly round, charred mark into the carpet. And his next words were, I was really familiar to me, because he said, go downstairs and bend over that couch. And so that was part of the ritual, because I would go downstairs and I'd be thinking of what I could say to get out of it, going as slow as possible. And then I would get to the couch and I'd be just like bent over the couch waiting, and my dad would take his time. I think that was part of it, the psychological torture or whatever. So he comes down the stairs, and I mean, man, I remember he used to whip me with belts and boards. He had these boards I hated it. He had this bookcase that fell apart. I probably broke it or something. But the board was a perfect little, like, it wasn't a 2x4, smaller than 2x4, but it was perfect for spankings, I guess. And so I remember he couldn't find that board. I don't know if I hit it or he just couldn't remember where he put it in the rafters or what, but he was pissed. So after waiting like 10 minutes for my ass whooping, he just comes downstairs and he takes out his belt. And then I was like, Dad, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm so sorry, it'll never happen again. And he was like, you know you're not supposed to touch the stove. Why'd you touch the stove? I was making you some popcorn so you could take it to your job for lunch. And of course he didn't buy that, you know. And that was all I had, you know. And then I was like, I'll never do it again. And he was like, I know you won't never do it again. Now turn around and bend over that couch. And so he like got in like one lick, and it was a good one, man, because it stood my ass up. And then I was like, I turned around. He was like, turn back around. And so I went to turn back around, and I don't know where he was coming with that next lick, but I don't even think he was either not even looking or he was and didn't give a shit. Because I turned around to say, Father, I love you. And I got about, I love, and then that fucking belt came right across my forehead. Just whoosh. And I had a line on my forehead. I didn't know it then, but later I learned that. But when he hit me with that belt, I was like, I acted like he had shot my ass. I was like, ah! And so my dad, I was like screaming like he had killed me. And so I guess that worked because I was scraping my forehead, and he was like, he made me move my hands and he checked my forehead, and that was the end of the beating, you know. It was later that day I went into the bathroom. I just had to go to the bathroom to check the damage, you know. And I had a line across my forehead, and you could see he had hit me so hard with the belt. It was all red, and then you could see the little dots from the belt holes, you know, every inch, you know, along my forehead. And yeah, so it was probably a little while before I used the stove again after that, but I'll never forget that. And that was another Ray story. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good whatever.